So one video that I wish I had recorded so I could be right about it was the fact that I thought, and again, in retrospect, easy to say this, but I had a feeling that the Pittsburgh Steelers could potentially get got by the Washington football team. It is still weird to call them that. My rationale for this was the Steelers won right off the bat. They do what they need to do to win, but still, even before they lost when they were undefeated, if you asked me, I mean, I've been saying it on these videos, you could go back and look, I think the Kansas City Chiefs, not only the best team in the AFC, but the best team in the NFL. So I didn't think the Steelers were the best team, but they had the best record. That's not why I thought they would get got by the Washington football team. I think everything that happened last week, them having to change, I think their game was originally scheduled for Thursday, then it got changed to Sunday, and then it was Tuesday, then it was Wednesday, and then they had to come back and play on a Tuesday. It was a weird, really, really weird situation, and I just think it was a lie. I mean, I just think all the changes were going to potentially have an effect on them, and it happened to have an effect on them. And the Washington football team handed them their first loss of the year. Obviously, they're in no danger of missing the playoffs or not even winning their division. They're going to win their division. They might have already sealed it up at this point. They have a 2-game lead over the Browns. I'm not sure if they play them again. I feel like they do. But they'll be fine. But the bigger story that I want to say outside of, the 72 Dolphins being able to pop that champagne because they remain the only undefeated team ever in NFL history. But Alex Smith, man, his story, just him in general, you can't not root for the guy. Like, if you ever watched the E60 they did on him, obviously, one, if you just go look at his football career, 49ers, I think he had like 7 different offensive coordinators his first 7 years, which is crazy. He had a new offensive coordinator each year. Then he finally starts to get it with Harbaugh, gets hurt, Kaepernick comes in. He ends up being a stud for a couple years. They ship him off to Kansas City, who his last year starting there, outside of them losing in, I think their first playoff game, he was in the conversation for a good chunk of the year to be the MVP. He had a great year. His last year in Kansas City was fantastic. And then just so happens that, that year they drafted potentially the best quarterback to ever play the game in Patrick Mahomes. So he ships out to Washington, and he's off to a great start in Washington, and then the injury happens, and it's not just your run-of-the-mill injury, which like a torn ACL, things like that those are devastating injuries for your athletic career, but he literally potentially almost lost a leg, lost his life. He comes back, which just being able to come back from that and being able to walk again is great and like unheard of, and you're happy for him. Awesome. Alex Smith says, no, I'm not only going to come back and walk, I'm actually going to play football again. I am going to make it back to the field. And he did that, and he made it onto the field, which is great. He never had to touch the field, and it was already, a storybook ending. Going to make a great movie about it someday. Perseverance, great lesson, never give up, awesome. Not only does that happen, but now he's playing, and he's playing winning football again. After everything that he went through with his leg, he is playing winning football, and he has the Washington football team. Granted, they're 5-7, but they're in a position where they could potentially make the playoffs. Let that sink in. Everything I just told you about Alex Smith, almost lost a leg, almost lost his life. Now he's back playing winning football, and he has the Washington football team in a position down the stretch to make the playoffs. Take my hat off to Alex Smith. You can't hate on the guy. Easily the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. I love it. I love to see it. I'm not an NFC East fan. I'm not a Washington fan. But obviously, if I'm rooting for any team in that division, it's Alex Smith, and it's the football team. I love to see it.